What's up, Euphorians? We're here. We're here with our friend, our very, very good friend, Luis Garcia. We've known him for a long time. He has some of the best opinions on movies, entertainment, TV, and they come from a well-informed place because he's actually worked in the industry for a long time, including now. Luis, tell us a little bit about what's going on. Who are you? Why are you here? What are you doing?
Why are you here,
Why are you
Luis?
here?
Explain yourself, please.
As Alex brought out, I am Luis Garcia, good friends of Paige and Alex, and fellow Euphoria fan. And yeah, I met Paige several years ago when we worked together, but we found out we had common background in film and television production. And I've been doing that for quite a while since I graduated college. And yeah, I had an exciting summer, wrote a horror script that got picked up and is in pre-production now. They're actively casting, so that's fun. But yeah, I share a love of Euphoria because it's an awesome show. I love Sam's work. Sam, we're close friends. And actually had The World is Small because my friend Jacob sat next to Lexi's mom in the two episode season finale. So close-ups of Jacob laughing and watching that. So I got to ask him a little bit about that, and I find it also fascinating, and I'm in love with the show. So thank you so much for having me on here. I also have a 13-year-old daughter who is curious about the show, and eventually we'll watch it together, hopefully. So, yeah.
You also have a podcast of your own.
I do, the Ponder All podcast.
Plug that shit, baby.
Yeah, plug it, but we'll also put all the links
Shameless.
in our
plug
episode.
It all.
So I'm the Pondercast at Twitter, on TikTok, which is where I get most of my attention. I do film and TV reviews. I have some celebrity guests. I'm trying to build my portfolio there. And I do a lot of interacting with other TikTok creators and reviewers as well.
I love that. Yeah, you're pretty hot on TikTok. You do a lot on that.
I'm getting there.
These are so funny.
Not as hot as your one that went viral though. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
the one about Meatball.
Yeah, Meatball's
yeah, he's the real star. We had nothing to do with it.
We also get a shit ton of reviews on our podcast that are put the cat on more, and we're the cat interrupts the podcast.
He's not a performer,
no.
Yeah, he was just, you just happened to catch him at a moment when he wanted to express himself, and it went viral. I mean, it happens.
It happens.
It does happen.
Great. Well, we have brought you here today because there's a bunch of shit going on in Euphoria world. And normally we don't cover the gossip very much, but the gossip is starting to spill over into the show, and people are getting canned, and the narrative is going to change. So it seems like maybe we should,
That's some art imitating life bullshit going on.
We do. This is Lexi's play, but in real life. And I'm always also everyone already knows this that listens, but I'm all in on the drama. I love it. But Alex is obviously, I feel like you both are similar. You're more about the show, the cinematography.
I'm largely ambivalent.
I'm is Jacob Elordi dating this week? What's Zendaya up to? I love the cast so much, so this is definitely was my idea, but also Alex said, it's so relevant, so we can't not this is important.
It's very important.
Our Euphorians have to know. So I'm gonna have my phone for notes, but what I'm gonna do is Alex said, I'm just gonna give context around some hot juicy headlines, and I just want you both to be the peanut gallery. We're just gonna be drinking, having a good time, say whatever you want to say, cancel anyone you want to cancel. Yeah. Cancel yourself if you want.
Yeah, I've done it twice already. So
we get canceled every week in our podcast. What is it? Commentary or whatever, feedback. I don't even know.
People, I want you out.
Reviews. I couldn't even think of the name because I'm tipsy. Reviews. Our reviews we're canceled.
You're gonna get canceled for being tipsy.
I've seen some reviews. They're mean. Some of those people are mean. Wow.
Fuck it. We don't care. It's you still listen. Those bitches are listening. So.
Right. That's right.
Also, I guess this is a good time to clarify. This is not in reference to the people on the show.
Or wait,
this is in reference to nothing. This is just a New York classic.
It says, fuck you, you fucking fuck.
It's just a New
If you
York
don't say that
classic.
in the streets of New York at some point, then you're not a real New Yorker.
Yeah, Alex definitely wears this to work every day.
Yeah, this is not reflective of my opinions of the people we're about to cover or
Yeah,
of our haters in any way.
No,
I
just
love the haters.
love the haters. Okay, Euphorians, buckle your seatbelts. We've got some juicy fucking stories for you.
All right.
Okay, Alex and Louise. So the first one is fucking obvious. Anyone that watches Euphoria, even if you don't watch Euphoria, like if you don't know this story, then you're just like living under a rock or aren't on social media. So Barbie Ferreira confirms her exit. Is that not how you say it? Did I already fuck it up?
I think it's just Ferrera,
It's
right?
like American Ferrera.
I think it's just Ferrera.
Here I am, the expert on the drama, and I don't even know how to say her last name. I've always said Ferreira.
I
Oh my
mean, our
God.
fans, please correct me if I'm wrong. but-
No, you're not. It's Ferreira.
Yeah, it's like
Barbie
American
Ferreira.
America.
It's the alcohol talking.
No worries.
Barbie Ferreira confirms her exit from season 3 of Euphoria. So, how this all went down, unfortunately, this wasn't like HBO making an announcement. It wasn't Sam. It wasn't like the Euphoria Instagram. It was her herself on her Instagram. And I'm just going to read the post for what it is so that you both have the context. So, she had a story, and it was a photo of fan art that Hunter had made her. And it's of Cat, it's of Thundercat. And the post says, after 4 years of getting to embody the most special and enigmatic character, Cat, I'm having to say a very teary-eyed goodbye. I hope many of you could see yourself in her like I did, and that she brought you joy to see her journey into the character she is today. I put all my care and love into her, and I hope you guys could feel it. Love you, Catherine Hernandez. I already laughed at that because I was like, her name's Kat. It's not Catherine.
Yeah, she signed it. Yeah,
Very formal. Very formal. So just to give you like a little background and some, HBO, like I said, has made no comment, meaning like no one else has spoken. This was just her dropping this on her Insta story, which is fucking shocking because normally this stuff comes from like the source. It's not just like the cast being like, peace out, I'm out on their Insta story. And it wasn't a post, it was an Instagram story. So that also kind of like makes it feel a little confusing. You're like, is she just drunk and she just accidentally like posted this, or is this like real? So everyone is like going crazy. It trends. Obviously, the immediate reaction, which I want you two to comment on, is the immediate reaction because of her fandom. Everything that's coming up is about all the rumors from season 3 that we've talked about on the show many times, which is that Sam and her have some tension on set and that she was fired. So with that being said, without HBO giving any comment or Sam, I just want to hear first off just general thoughts. Like, are we sad? What are our vibes?
So Luis, as an insider, read between the lines when an actor announces their own like departure from the show. Like, what's going on? Like,
that is, yeah, that's very it's a little unhinged and kind of that seems a little like bridges are burned. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a chance of going back. There's just an actor that's leaving another show I read today, and his publicist and the studio acknowledged it and we're kind of involved in like the what do you call it, the departure. This just seems very
yeah, right, it's like very abnormal, obviously.
Very abnormal. And we were saying last season, you guys were saying that Barbie, you could tell, just looked kind of
looked miserable in my opinion. I'm just gonna put it bluntly. Like, now that this has come out, I'm kind of going back and I'm like, I was right. She looks miserable. She doesn't look like she's enjoying herself, even through her acting. I just felt like it was like, you could tell she didn't want to be there.
Her character
that was my
took
vibe.
a weird turn too. So like, there's a lot. I think there's a lot of questions about like, was she unhappy because of the turn of her character, or was the turn of her character because she was being unprofessional on set? Like, which came first?
Yeah.
I do know. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
A lot of times the showrunner will start making the character look a certain way in order to pave a way for their exit, kind of like Shonda Rhimes. She like pulls you off or makes a character, in the writing act a certain way. And it was a very weird turn to the cat. She was just not nice at all last season. And it was like kind of like out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna back you up on that. I've also heard that. I did, of course, my extra research, and a lot of people in like Reddit posts are saying that her character, which I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but her character may have had a good arc. She could have just been unprofessional. And because of that, Sam was like, well, fuck, how do we write you out? Because you're being so bad on set. And
Right.
could have made the story. And this is all just like assumptions. I'm not saying this is how it went down, but people are just saying maybe that is why like Kat's story arc sucked in season 2 because it did. I mean, we talked about it all throughout the podcast. Like it was glaringly bad. Like it was like so bad that you're like, what? Because she was such a strong character in season 1 and she had such a fan base. Like you were definitely thinking, what's going on?
Yeah, and worked hard, to even get Ethan. Well, I mean, yeah, I would say it was a weird left turn. It made no sense, just being mean and making him feel like shit. And there wasn't a lot of empathy towards that character towards the end of the season. And even with the certain scenes, I know when Rue showed up to Lexi's house all plastered and they were all kind of there together for the first time, and it was like such an intense moment. She was just kind of not giving any lines and just kind of standing there with her arms. It was just weird. A lot of standing around with your arms crossed.
Yes.
In the game and not having much to say. It's usually a red flag.
You're so right. And I don't know if we touched on this, but also like when Ethan does his big fucking dance at the end, like she doesn't really have much of a reaction other than like, oh my God, but it's like kind of fake. And you're like, that's it. Like,
right.
That's all you have to say about like the crush of your dreams from season 1 is like up there, like dancing to like, I need a hero. And you're just like, oh, and that's it.
It was very bizarre.
Yeah, a little weird.
Yeah. And like, so I guess ultimately, like, we don't know what came first. Like the time in season 2 was weird, or the turn of her character in season 2 was weird. Is that because of her? Is that because of the writers and she was unhappy with it and maybe she should have just like stuck around like and given it more time and she wanted to exit because of the turn her character took? Like ultimately we don't know. I think it's a loss for the show.
Huge loss.
Even though like I've never been like the biggest fan of like Kat as a character. Like
Alex
she was
not a big fan.
Barbie was always great in that role. And there's a lot that like they could have continued to do with that character that would have meant a lot to a lot of people.
That's how I feel. Like she was very important to so many people out there. Like
seems like a big loss. Even though she wasn't my favorite.
I agree.
Okay. All right. So moving on, like we all miss Kat. We're all in mourning. Me and Alex are wearing black. Louise is not. So sorry, you didn't get the memo. But we're at a funeral for Kat's character.
I'm like, was I wearing that all day?
You're like rejoicing that Kat's gone. Okay, Louise, you're already canceled.
Wow.
No, I'm sad. I'm sad because I think Barbie is super talented and she had a really quick scene in Nope.
Yeah.
Which I thought was odd because it was
like very background.
I feel like that made no sense. To me indicates that maybe the issues are more with her and she's kind of overvalued her star power. I'm like, your role in Nope was super small. Like I don't know if you get to like be like
I could have done that part.
Same.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Louise, you would have been the best.
It was odd, right, Alex? It was like, oh, I got happy when I saw her sneak up behind Daniel or Angel, his character. Not that I don't obsess over him at all or anything. But I was excited to see her in the shot.
Same.
Like, oh,
well, because you think she's gonna be a fucking character in the movie, and then, like you said, she just like eats some popcorn awkwardly, and then she's off, and you're like, what was that?
Yeah, I feel like she doesn't get to like throw around the like star power yet. So I'm like a little nervous for her like career wise that she's kind of already like got this reputation and seems to be like kind of making moves in this way. It's like you could really, even though you like think you're A-list right now, like you could really easily be forgotten. Like a lot of people have been when you're still this early in your career. Like every role you get matters, and like there's plenty of people just like you that got forgotten real quick.
Yeah. I want to discuss, not to transition off of that so fast, but so the Zach Sang radio show, which I'm like a loyal follower of. I love Zach Sang. I've been watching him since I was like, I don't know, a very young age. He's had his radio show forever. A very trusted source. I sent Louise the video before this. There's a whole YouTube video, and we've already linked it in our Instagram, but I'll link it below this too. So they have someone that's voice is like what, like morphed, I don't know, so that you can't tell who it is. Yeah, muffled. And they're pretty much giving like the tea on what happened on set. And supposedly they are like a valid employee of Euphoria somehow, or works for HBO. We don't really know the details, obviously, but we can trust the source because Zach Sang would never put someone on the air that was like a fucking lunatic or someone that didn't work on the show.
What's your take, Luis?
Well, the person was very detailed.
Yeah.
They were saying, 9 months. That sounds like a contract or someone union that was just there for the whole time. And that to me just sounds. I have a friend that works on The Rookie, and it's very much the same with him. He's, 8-9 months on, gets to see a lot. Will send me random texts about some of the stars, and I'm like, oh my god, like the stuff he sees and puts up with. I was on Law and Order back in the day, early 2000s, as a casting assistant, and would see D'Onofrio lose his mind and go into his trailer for the whole day, like hold the show up
over Law and Order
on Law and Order, Criminal Intent.
Oh,
well, okay.
I mean, let's give them Criminal Intent. Are you kidding? I'm just kidding.
So
That's
I could
interesting.
see my take is that it's all true, especially.
So do you think it's
It's pretty funny that D'Onofrio was being a diva over Criminal Intent.
That's also fucking hilarious.
This was back
when
Law
and Order, like the acting's so rough.
This was right before Obama. No, it was right. I would say a couple years before Obama. And one of his excuses was he went into his trailer until Bush was out of office. Yeah.
I mean, okay, but like once again, it's work. Like you and I, Louise, so we have like work history together. You and I always talk about this. Like shit happens every day. But like a job is a job. There's a certain level of professionalism. Like you're allowed to be a human being and have emotions and react and have your moments, but like that's what a lot of people are talking about. Yeah, you still have to do your job. And I'm sorry, but if you're doing a job on Euphoria where you're getting paid that fucking money, just do the fucking scene, honey, and then leave and have your cry fest and drink some bougie wine because you can afford it. You're on Euphoria. Yeah. It's like, I think that from what I gathered myself on the Zach Sang whatever clip was that they all have big egos, like Alex said, and they're getting big heads. To throw an attitude, it's like you can't do that. Like this is your start. Like you should just be relishing in this moment. Also, we don't know if this is even what she's doing, but I'm kind of leaning toward maybe.
What is it? The skinless cat shitting on.
Oh, I literally have a note that says her cat pissed all over the trailer.
Yeah, to me it's funny. I mean, we've worked with people that have, I'm not going to say any names, brought their animal to work and it has not gone well. I brought my dog to work and she took an enormous shit right in the foyer. And that was embarrassing. So, and I got talked to about it, as I should. Can you imagine being like on a hit show and you send a PA to get you a water and there's like fucking cat piss everywhere?
Cat piss everywhere?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know like you could tell whoever was the voice of the clip was obviously just like being comical, but also like, yeah, that's kind of funny. I was like, yeah, fired. Like if you have cat piss and litter everywhere and you're supposed to be like professional and like this hot ass like Euphoria star, why the fuck is there like cat piss everywhere? Like
Dirty
you can't afford a cat sitter?
Right.
Like,
don't you have an assistant to like wash your cat? Like
yeah, and then it could have been an emotional support. Skinless
sure, but get an assistant. Have your partner be there.
Yeah.
Somebody still has to watch, like, make sure it's not pissing everywhere. Like,
I literally wrote her cat pissed all over the trailer, and then I wrote there was a mention that I wanted to point out, which was that the voice said that the cast was screaming at each other.
Oh yeah.
That to me Well, I'm calling it The Voice because I don't know, girl, guy. I have no idea like who this could be. I have no fucking clue.
It's the
I
inside.
mean,
I would guess like
I mean,
a gay guy.
It seems like a gay man.
I mean, I caught on to that. We catch on to each other pretty quickly, by the way. once we did this.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you think it was hot? Were you like, ooh? I'm just kidding.
I thought it was fucking hilarious. I was
Same.
laughing my ass off in the
I
car.
knew you would. That's why I sent it to you. I was like, Louise has to listen to this like in real time.
Because they were like, I was eating that Euphoria snacks. Those snacks were so
Do you have any did you like take any like hints from that like give you an idea of like what role this person's in, or are they just like crew,
probably a PA,
like union
I would
crew,
say,
like...
Yeah. Sorry, I keep talking over you guys. This is a podcast. I should know better.
No, please talk over us.
Yeah, we saw.
I would say PA, or
craft services.
Probably not craft, because crafty you have to stay where you are in order to man the table.
That's true. That's true.
Person the table. Let me say it right. I don't want to get canceled. Person the table.
Whoa, that's really speciesist.
Whoa. Person the table, Luis. I would say that much access to the actors. Either it could be an assistant, it could be or like a PA, or someone that like a props junior, like a props master or assistant as well, that has a lot of access to the set.
I will say,
Sweet.
I can confirm it's not the prop master. We interviewed him and there's no way.
No, like an assistant in props, maybe.
I mean, I don't think it's him, but
No.
like, don't underestimate. You know, he's an actor too. Maybe he really put on a.
Oh, I know, maybe, but I feel
yeah.
like I know Joshua too well from our interview. But anyways, the
Okay.
last thing I wrote was my favorite part was how he ended it, and he wrote when they were like, "Is there anyone else that's like gonna get fired? Like, what should we expect?" And he goes, "Oh, buckle up, motherfuckers."
Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh my God, I am buckling up because what the fuck? I thought this was the only bomb. So in my head, I'm like, there's going to be more to come.
Yep. And I should probably talk to my source, which is
You should.
now. He was really reluctant to get into details because he is friends with Sam, supposedly. Which
supposedly.
I do trust it. He's never let me sway. He's never swayed me. He's always
Okay.
He would acknowledge me at the gym on Hollywood Boulevard at that big what is
That's
that?
hot.
He'd be like, "What's up, Luis?" So anybody got an assistant?
So that's it. That's all we know. This is a valid source.
You're in.
You're in.
Yeah. But when I texted him and I said, "Hey, congratulations, this is huge," he was like, "The only reason I got that part, or a big part of it, was because I know Sam." And I was like, "Man, I want to pick your brain." But he said it was a lot of fun.
Cool. I mean, we've interviewed a lot of the cast, as you know, and they've all had great experiences. So I think we're all on the same page. None of us know, so we're gonna move on to the next topic. We don't know, but we have our like opinions, but we'll never know.
Yeah. All right.
All of our love to Barbie, though. I will say that. Let's pour one out to Barbie. Let's have a quick toast.
Well,
R.I.P. Cat, Thundercat.
Situationally, unless she turns out to have just.
No, I said R.I.P. Cat, the fictional character.
Yes,
we need to pour one out for Cat.
Yes. All right.
Iconic, one of the first characters of that kind.
She introduced us to the diaper pay pig. So
I wonder what's gonna.
Shout out to the diaper pay pig.
No, don't shout that out.
Thank you, Cat, for the.
Alex almost wore. Alex wanted to find Cat's like mask and wear it the whole time. We couldn't find one though. Next time.
Done that. I have some mask over here I can put on, but they're not cat related.
That might scare our Euphorians. They're like 16 to 18. They might be a little freaked out.
Cat related.
I'm curious what they're gonna do with not to keep going, but I'm wondering how they're gonna write her out. So
No, you can say whatever you want to say. I mean, I agree. Like, how the fuck are they? I mean, I don't know though. They kind of just like made her character, like you said, a dud. So it's like, if you're looking at Euphoria not knowing all this background and you're not super fans like us, you're kind of just like, okay, I guess that character's out. Like, I don't know if you'd even care the next season to know.
Well, I mean, we're gonna get into this later, but it depends what they do with this whole time skip thing, because the time skip allows you to do like basically anything.
Yeah, let's not jump there. That's for later.
But
this next story will have you both on the floor. Okay. So Sydney Sweeney, who's my ultimate, as we all know, girl crush. Don't know what to think now, but like,
Sydney Sweeney in hot water.
In hot water. So she receives major backlash over photos from her mom's 60th hoedown, throwdown. So Sydney Sweeney, she's over here. She's A-list. I would consider her an A-list celebrity. She's making that money. It's her mom's 60th. She's like, ooh, yay, we're all from Idaho. And I'm gonna throw her this like adorable country hoedown. Luis also has family in Idaho, as we mentioned before, so he'll probably relate to this
Family's
a lot.
also from Oregon,
okay,
where I'm from.
So
we all know about all that shit.
Let me give you the chain of events from my POV. So I'm on my phone having a great day. I'm like, my first thing when I wake up is like, what's Sydney Sweeney doing? Of course, because I have a big crush on her. So I'm like going through. She's like, today's a great day. Like it's my mom's 60th birthday. I'm like, oh, how cute. So I'm like tapping, going through the story. She's like, we had an electrical ball. There was a embroidery like jacket station. I'm literally in my heart is like bursting. I'm like, this is adorable. Like, oh my God, Sydney can do no wrong. So I'm thinking like, this is cute. Like she's just having a little hoedown, throwdown. Well, then I look on Twitter and I'm like, Sydney Sweeney's literally number 3 in the world trending. I'm like, oh, it's because of her mom's like adorable birthday. This is so cute. So I tap. I'm looking through and everyone's like, fuck Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney's a racist. I'm like, what is going on? So I do my digging as a Euphorian would. And sure enough, she had tweeted in the afternoon. I'm going to quote it. She said, you guys, this is wild. An innocent celebration for my mom's milestone 60th birthday has turned into an absurd political statement, which was not the intention. Please stop making assumptions. Much love to everyone and happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah.
So in my head, though, still very innocently thinking, because I'm not really looking at the other tweets yet. I'm like, oh, people are tying country to Republican because everything's so extreme these days. We all know this. We all joke about it all the time. So I'm thinking they just don't like that she threw a country party. Yeah, then I go and look. There's tweets showing photos. So the photos I was watching on Sydney Sweeney's stories did not show any of this shit. But what happened was her dumbass brother went on and posted some photos. And in the background, there's all this racist shit going on.
Oh, wow.
So the first thing, I'll let you guys chime in. The first thing that's highly noted are she printed MAGA themed hats for people at the party. And they say, make 60 great again.
Okay.
So
she did?
Yeah. So
I didn't know that. I thought there were just people in the background wearing MAGA hats that wore them there themselves.
I knew you were going to say that, so I purposely didn't talk about it. So to be fair, that is what, so it took off. I think that is the intent of like why she went trending. I think people were like, oh my God, MAGA hats. And that was like, you know what I mean? Like we know cancel culture these days, anything that even like hints at canceling, everyone jumps on it. But then when you zoom in, as a Euphorian would and does the actual research, you see that it says make 60 great again.
Right.
So let that sink in. Then there's a guest in one of the photos that's wearing a Blue Lives Matter shirt. Now, a lot of people are saying it's her dad. We don't know that for sure. Who cares who it is? He's wearing a Blue Lives Matter shirt and he's like centered in one of the photos. But Sydney Sweeney's photo on Instagram had him cropped out.
Her photos also had all the red hats cropped out as well.
I'm only saying that to note that because obviously when I watched the stories, if I had seen that, I would not have been like, oh, cute. I would have been like, what the fuck? So interesting that she curated it in that way. The last thing I'll say is that despite all of that, I just want you both to chime in. Just say your initial thoughts. Like you're seeing this and then you hear about what I like, go through my experience. What are your initial thoughts? That's all I want to know.
Luis,
as someone who is now up in this area of MAGA population and kind of this red blue, I can see how that put her in a really awkward spot because I have, extended family that viewpoints are a little different. My ex-boyfriend,
a little,
yeah, a little. My ex-boyfriend would walk around with a red hat that said "Made You Look Again," but it looked like a MAGA hat. and he would do that to be funny. And I'm like, you're gonna get us killed because it's not funny. Here you're playing with your brown gay boyfriend up in the Eastern Washington with that. It's gonna, but they think it's funny, so I could see why they would think that that's funny.
That makes 60 again. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You could see. Okay.
And that being
Interesting.
taken the wrong way. Sydney apparently pays her publicist more than her publicist costs more than her mortgage. So,
yeah, that's the next headline we're going to go into. So we'll get into details about her salary, but
what I was just saying is like she's not paying her publicist.
Actually, you know what? Let me just bring it up.
Yo.
No. Let me read it.
Who the fuck is her publicist? It's getting paid this much to do this shit.
Hire me or Alex at
Her
this point.
publicist is running the fucking scam of the century.
Let me read the direct quote. Now that you've said that, I'm like, I have to read it. So she wrote, "The established stars still get paid, but I have to give 5% to my lawyer, 10% to my agents, 3% or something like that to my business manager. However, I have to pay my publicist every month, and that is more than my mortgage." That's a direct quote from Hollywood Reporter.
You need a new fucking publicist. Like, whatever you're paying, it doesn't matter how much she's paying her publicist. They're doing a fucking shit job. She could pay anyone like 0.5% of her salary, and they do a better job than this. Like, this is trash.
She could pay us. She could pay Louise.
Like, literally, like you could pay like a college grad, like fresh out of PR class, and they would do a better job than this. Like,
so she pays her PR. So to answer what you just said, which is a great point, she pays her publicist more than her mortgage.
So she's got to get rid of the publicist because the publicist did not do a good job at all. So I feel like this is unfortunate. It's an unfortunate. You just get caught up in this with family. I mean, it just doesn't look good, but at the same time, I can see where she'd be put in this awkward situation.
Totally.
I don't believe Sydney Sweeney is racist.
Okay, I don't either. I don't think that's the point. I think the point, for me at least, is that what we're just talking about, which is, I'm sorry, if you're paying your publicist more than your mortgage, then fucking figure it out. Like, the best plan would have been no phones at the party. Because meaning like you said, you have family members that have other thoughts, have other opinions, whatever it may be. Even if they all were woke fucking liberals, no photos. You're an A-list celebrity. Anything that happens at this party is gonna get leaked. Anything. Yep. So in my opinion, if you're trying to be a private celebrity, having a great time with your mom for her milestone 60th, maybe just no phones, no photos.
That could have been a rule again, collecting phones or something.
This was just my take on this was just like a mega fucking like PR failure. Like, I mean, we can't presume to know whether Sydney Sweeney is or is not a racist. People, the biggest detractors in the world are gonna say the classic, like, the racism wasn't a deal breaker for her when it came to family. Family stuff's complex. I'm not gonna make some big like judgment on her for having that shit there. The MAGA hats are just like unoffensive. It's like whatever, I mean,
is that really what you think? Because I was gonna ask you about that. Like,
the hats are just like stupid to me, but like unoffensive, like whatever. The fucking Blue Lives Matter shirt, pretty bad, but especially if that's your dad, like, but like, again, like the family stuff is complex, so I'm not here to like levy some like crazy judgment over that, but just a fucking like this is like an obscenely like large PR failure for someone of her stature. This never should have happened. Where's her fucking lawyer? Where's her fucking publicist? Why were there phones at this event? And if there were going to be phones at this event, why were you allowing any of these people in wearing this shit? Like, it's got to go one way or the other. Like, that's just it. Like, only because she's the one bankrolling it.
Yeah.
She fucking bankrolled the thing. If you're going to bankroll the thing, you get to say no phones, no MAGA hats, no shirts,
no
whatever.
MAGA hats.
One way or the other. If you want it to be full of MAGA hats and Blue Lives Matter shirts, great. But you get to say no phones and like enforce that. It's just a total fucking failure. Like,
yeah, and
whatever she's paying her publicist, it's like a million times too much because this is bad.
Yeah, and it's not good timing. with the other news going on either. With the
No, like I said earlier, she's new. Like she's early in her career. Like
Sydney Sweeney's not as new as Barbie.
she's not as new
No.
as Barbie, but she's new
She's
enough
been around the
that she
block.
can be a has-been in a second. Like there's plenty of
Yes.
stars that had their big like shit for a couple movies, a couple shows, and then they drop off the radar for life. Like
You know what's bad about this, in my opinion, and I think Louise, you can weigh in on this. I feel like given her recent Emmy nominations, like that sucks. Like she has to go up and like I really do believe she's gonna win the Emmy. Like that's just me, but I think she will. And I feel like that's awkward because now everyone has these like, because of your PR nightmare, which could have been prevented, you're gonna feel awkward. I'd feel awkward as fuck in front of like a bunch of liberal artists, like at the Emmys, like accepting an award after all of that. That would be pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah. And the fact that the pressure to acknowledge it, which she released that statement, I think that might have made it worse a little bit. Her publisher should be working, overtime.
You're right. I didn't even
who
think of
let her
that.
tweet that shit?
I know.
Why the fuck did her publicist let her tweet that? Like
Not good.
Not good.
dude.
It's a very defensive stance on it, and it doesn't acknowledge why people are upset. So I hope that if she does win the Emmy, it's very cordial. Thank you, and say much about anything. Get off that
She's
stage.
like, I am not a racist, but thank you for the Emmy.
Yeah, not good. It's really bad timing. Oof.
Yeah.
So bottom line, Sydney Sweeney, no matter what you're paying your publicist, pay us. Like pay us like 1% of 1%, and it's still gonna be more than our annual salaries, and we're gonna do a way fucking better job. Like
Pay me.
we have PR degrees, like she's got business experience. Maybe you have business.
I'm just gonna jump right back in. So
Jump back in.
to now laugh at like the photos that I've shared with you, Louise, there's just some funny shit. We already said, like, first of all, she definitely curated her photos. So she did try and be a little PR friendly, but she was stupid enough to not think, oh, my family members might post the same photos that are not cropped and don't crop out the MAGA hats. So like someone tweeted, like, kind of funny how Sydney Sweeney carefully curated her IG post so that none of the MAGA inspired hats were seen, and then her dim-witted brother's post blew it all up.
He looks so happy. They all look so happy.
The fucking dim-witted brother.
Trent Sweeney,
This
I'm
one
just shouting
with,
him out.
Zendaya on the e-bike is hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know if Alex has seen this.
Mhm,
It's like
mhm.
it says
Yeah.
losing my mind at half the Euphoria cast while they're fighting for their lives on this app. She's just like living her best life, like shooting Dune in Budapest with like Tom Holland, the most wholesome guy in the world. Timothy, like she's just living her best life. She knows like without Rue, like Euphoria is fucking nothing. So she's confirmed. She's like, bye, Kat. Bye, Sydney Sweeney.
Like Tom, it seems like Tom and Timothy, they avoid that kind of drama like the plague. They must have like the best representation, and they just avoid that. Like you don't ever see them in any kind of
Well, Chivity got accused of like giving chlamydia to like all of NYU, but
Timothy did, yeah. He did.
that got swept under the rug pretty quick.
It
though.
did, but I will say like Zendaya is a perfect example. Like she's like fine-tuned. She's been on Disney. She's got like the best of the best. Like this would never happen to Zendaya. Like it just would not. Like I can say that like with full
The
confidence.
thing
I'm not
is,
being
you don't
dramatic.
need like the best representation for this. You just have to have like half a brain. Like,
If we're being honest, I'll take some chlamydia from Timothy any day. Like
I mean,
Same. Sign me up.
it's a penicillin shot, dude. It's a weekend,
It's fine.
Put it in
Louise,
my-
you're gonna get canceled. But anyways.
Join the club.
I mean, it's got to be worth it, right?
Yeah.
So
Come on. Damn.
I mean, there were obviously other
Bony
thoughts.
bones.
Someone wrote this, which like I talked to Alex about. Someone tweeted, "Oh, Sydney Sweeney might have conservative family members." Okay, laugh out loud. Anyways,
who cares?
and I'm like, that's not. But that's my
Right.
point. Is like that's not what people are mad about. I think it's that like she's so dumb, like Alex said, to not like be smarter. Like
Well, like
Meaning-
people are mad about that, but those aren't the people you worry about. You worry about the people that look at you and go, why was she so dumb to let this happen? Because that's what fucks up your career. Like,
Yes.
of course, like there's going to be like the screaming hordes that are like, wow, why does she have family that are like this? Like, why doesn't she cut them out? Fine. But like, those aren't the people that are going to impact your career. The people impacting your career are the ones that go like, why is this girl like a PR hot mess? Why can't she like keep anything under wraps? Why does she keep being in the news for the dumbest shit that could have just been prevented? Like,
Exactly. I agree.
It just says a lot where we are as a society.
I know.
If like unfortunate camera framing and unfortunate designs, it's just like so easy to get caught up in.
But like Alex said, it's not so easy. Meaning if she just had never allowed phones, this just wouldn't even be a topic of conversation. But I know what you're saying. Like,
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. Like,
it is easy, but it is easy to get caught up in it. But if you're an A-list celebrity, that's like half your job is like maintaining your reputation. So like, why are you being so negligent to like?
well,
this
some
shit?
people bring their public big events like that too. Like
Her publicist should be with her like 24/7 at this point.
well,
She
I can
keeps
confirm her
doing some
glam team was
shit.
there because she had photo booth photos with like her hair person and her makeup. So she maybe the PR assistant lost her invite in the mail to the hoedown. I don't know. But her glam team was there. So Sydney Sweeney was like, glam team is here, PR, like whatever. And that was a bad choice.
Girl, where's your lawyer?
Glam
Where's your
team,
publicist?
were all the glam team, were they all wearing MAGA hats? Makes sense.
Probably.
Yeah. And it's just like, you get it, Louise. Like Louise and I was raised Mormon. Louise was Jehovah's Witness. Like we get it. So I'm like, I do not think Sydney Sweeney I'm sorry, I will take a stance. I don't think she's a racist. I think she's someone who's in a bad position where her family members are all idiots. And she's just like, whatever, it's my mom's birthday. I'm not going to choose this day to have these tough conversations. Like it's her birthday. So that I'm fine. Personally, I don't care if I'm canceled for that. I'm fine with that. I'm on the same page as you and Alex. So the PR though, it's like, but that's like me and you. In the real world, you and I can get away with that. We're not Sydney Sweeney.
Not yet. Working towards it. I got my own fashion line coming out.
Hey, what's it called?
It's called Frumpy, where you just sit at home. It's really baggy clothes that can handle.
Oh, okay.
Just like bags.
Sign us up. Potato sacks.
Yeah, just potato sacks. Like
sacks with holes.
But you can also walk your dog and take him out to pee and not be embarrassed. It's kind of.
You know what's funny? If Sydney Sweeney and Barb, if they're not doing well,
sacks.
send them your brand. They can be your brand ambassadors. They probably won't have any jobs.
Barb, you can wear Frumpy and maybe get a longer scene in Jordan Peele's new movie. I wouldn't pitch Jordan Peele off because it seemed like he probably cut her right out. He was like, "Oh yeah, here's your big scene." What she did. Ate a chip. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Anyway,
So what did you? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you both off, but what did you both think about the Hollywood Reporter? We kind of touched on it. The Sydney Sweeney was again under fire before this, and I think that's why this became even bigger. The second story of her mom's hoedown throwdown, because before this, she did this huge article in the Hollywood Reporter, and it was super tasteless because either the journalist misconstrued her words or she really did say some of this shit. But here, I'm gonna give you a taste because from Louise's face, I can tell he didn't read. It's fine. Like I don't expect you. We're like super fans. We have to know this shit. So I'm gonna read you a little bit of it and then just give me your immediate reaction. So she said, surely HBO paychecks afford a lifestyle immune from rising gas prices. They don't pay actors like they used to with streamers. You no longer get residuals. The established stars still get paid. Then she goes on with the rant about how much she pays everybody. Then she says, it's not that I want people to feel badly for me. I'm just adamant that the luxuries of the job do not gloss over the realities of the business. To stay relevant as a young actress, particularly once Meatball. Meatball is like, fuck Sydney Sweeney. Will you go get him and I'll finish the quote?
Please continue.
So it's not that she wants people to feel badly for her, but she's adamant that the luxuries of the job not gloss over the realities of the business. To stay relevant as a young actress, particularly one so deeply entrenched in and reliant on the internet generation, requires investment. There's a lot of press to do. There's styling, tailoring, hair and makeup, travel. Not all of this is always covered by the network, meaning HBO. So she says, if I just acted, I would not be able to afford my life in LA. I take these deals on the internet because I have to.
Yeah, I mean,
But
case in
I
point.
know where you're already going, but I'm like, given COVID, people don't even have jobs.
I want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, given COVID and the state of the world, people don't have jobs. But I will say, as a producer who has sent out offers to actors and who's currently in that process, you'd be surprised who will take your call and like patch you right through and take an offer and the script, no questions asked. And then there's some people that will dig around and want more to kind of find out who you are, find out who's your producer, find out if money's actually there. Because there's a lot of crazies that can call at any point and say, yeah, I have I have a script. Can we get your person attached? And then try to use that as leverage to get funding.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she's bringing up a really good point. It's sad that residuals aren't available for streamers. And, you know, she's also tapping into female performers not getting paid as much too. I mean, that wasn't outrightly said. So there's those.
But do you think that's what she meant? Like female performers aren't getting paid?
I would say, I mean, she may not have meant that, but I mean, it's a state of how things are. And I think it's a little mix of a little bit of just kind of being young and out of touch, but also the interviewer kind of could have misquoted any of that stuff. I mean,
Meatball has a lot to say. I'm gonna move him.
Yeah, she's making her sound completely like oblivious to the state of the world, and I don't think that she's that oblivious. Hey, Meatball, what's up, buddy? I miss you.
Meatball's really blowing up.
You're still out of touch. Meow meow meow.
Meow meow. You lost some weight, buddy. What's good?
He's looking very trim these days.
What's your secret, bud?
Anyways, please continue. I appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two sides to obviously every story. I don't see her as some completely out of touch, Sunset Boulevard-ish type dame. Is that even the right word? That doesn't know like the real world.
Nah.
Someone that's taking. You see all these young people like Zendaya, did a Squarespace ad that has nothing to do with like, her. I mean, it has something to do with her brand, but it had nothing to do with like the show per se. But she is a brand and with her own. I mean, she's just got the one name and performer on Disney and an artist with music and things like that. So
fashion.
I don't know. It's interesting to hear that insight of having to take brand deals to survive, and it says a lot about the industry in the state now.
But okay. I'm already
right.
So survive. What is this fucking Survivor? Like I have to take this brand deal to survive. Like they're living in $1 million homes.
Let me back that up. Survive the lifestyle that they've chosen, not survive in the world.
Okay. That makes it better.
Because it is true, the more money you make, the more you spend, and that's nobody's fault except the person, right?
I was just gonna say, but like you don't have to. Like we also all of us being like loving film, there's people out there that don't spend that kind of money on their lifestyles at all. So it's like you chose that, Sydney Sweeney. So like don't complain about having to survive and take brand deals. Like fuck. I would literally like.
Yeah, but I mean, I think
I'd wear a MAGA hat to get paid so that I could survive living in New York. Like
there's an audio blurb that'll end your career.
Like I just don't understand when they say stuff like this. I'm like, do you even want to know what I would do to survive? Like I'm like living paycheck to paycheck in New York City. So like, please don't say stuff like that when you have a $3 million home in LA and you're living the life of luxury and you're like, I have to take this Jergens ad to survive. It's like, do you know how much that shit pays? Like that, honestly, she's not wrong though. That internet shit pays probably more than she makes on Euphoria.
And that's sad. I mean,
is it?
But also she has the opportunity to.
What's sad about it? I'm breaking it down. Like, what's sad about that?
I feel like there's so much money in advertising. It's just sad that the art doesn't pay more, but like who you know what I'm saying? Like residuals being gone, that's a whole other thing. Like for something that's not on TV, that has to be fixed. There's going to be a strike if there's not.
Question, and this is more of a background, residuals being gone. So from my understanding, like I know people in the industry that have done like Netflix and they do get paid per stream. Isn't that like a residual? So why don't they get paid on HBO?
I'm not sure. I think
That's why big stars now do that over movies, because they get paid so much more if their like show does well. Like if you're number one on Netflix, once again, this is just through the grapevine of people I know. That's why like big stars are embarrassing themselves and being in like shitty ass Netflix shows, because they make so much more money than they would on a film, which is sad. I will agree with you on that. Like that bums me out, because like I don't care about the shitty Netflix shows. I want to see like a good movie.
Yeah. I'll have to research like that. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about that.
It's okay. I was just
All
like
I'll
curious
say about this whole thing is like, I'm not someone that's easily offended. And this is the type of shit that offends me. Because it's like, with the lifestyle that you're talking about, that you are like living this, you're complaining about, you're whatever, all this stuff. It's like, you're paying off your parents' house. You're living in a mansion in LA. Like you're funding like an obscene lifestyle. I the way I think about it is this, like, I'm like a basic ass tech employee. I get paid more than a lot of people my age. I consider myself very lucky. I, as probably everyone does, have gripes about my pay. I would love to be paid more, but guess what? I'm never gonna fucking air any grievance about my pay publicly, because I consider myself insanely lucky, and I am just a basic tech employee. She is like what most people would consider to be in the 1%. She's seen more money than most Americans will see in their entire life. So for her to publicly come out and air her grievances about her pay scale in Hollywood and her how she has to take advertising on the side to pay off her parents' house, like, I don't want to fucking hear it. It's insanely tone deaf. And like, honestly, like that's the type of shit where I'm done with you as a person. Like, I would never say anything about, I would never complain about my pay to anyone ever publicly, because I'm so lucky to be where I'm at. The amount of money I'm making is not some like massive, great thing. But guess what? I'm super fucking lucky. I'm here living in New York. I'm able to live in New York. I don't have to live here. If I was like really like struggling, I could move to the fucking suburbs of like Nebraska. I'm able to like fund a lifestyle in New York. It's not lavish.
Yeah.
Like it's not lavish. I'm in a studio, but like I don't complain about it because I chose to live here. I know it's expensive and I'm able to just survive here on like my paycheck. I'm not gonna fucking go complain. Would I love to pay off my parents' house? Fucking yes. And would I ever complain about a job that allowed me to pay my parents' house off? Never. Like never in my fucking life. Like
that's a good
that
point.
is the most spoiled like shit, out of touch like I've ever heard. And I have
you heard it here first.
Zero tolerance for that. I find it insanely distasteful to complain about your pay publicly when you're in what's generally considered like the 1% of America. Even if those grievances are valid, those are private industry grievances, not public.
I'm hiding my face because I love Sydney Sweeney so much, and I hate that she's under such
and I agree with you. Those grievances are probably super valid, but that's stuff that you deal with in the industry. You don't go to America and say, I don't get paid enough. Like nobody in this country wants to fucking hear that. The people in your industry, talk to them. Like,
I
want to hear Louise's.
I agree with everything you're saying, and I think that again, this is where the publicist comes in, and you get the questions ahead of time, and you don't hear Timothy or Tom Holland saying any of this shit.
No, and they probably, and like you said, the industry, obviously people deal with this on like a widespread, like all throughout the industry. So like there's no secret about that.
And not saying the issues aren't valid to talk about in the right context. Like, yes, women in Hollywood are underpaid. Like that's
stick to that narrative.
Like, we can say like, yo, it sucks that like artists in America aren't paid more. Like we can say that like these contracts suck. All that shit has a place, but it's not a fucking interview with the Hollywood Reporter or whatever major outlet. Like,
no, not now.
No.
Not in the middle.
Like I said, Louise already said it perfectly. Like she's just like, and I'm not saying this as an excuse, but my read on it is she's young,
She's just young.
new, and wasn't raised in Hollywood, meaning she's literally from Salem. So she's going into
But that's supposed to ground you.
That's fine. I know. I'm not, like I said, it's not an excuse. I'm saying I think she has no team. Her team clearly fucking sucks. We've all agreed on that.
Yeah.
Like they suck. So she
For
doesn't
sure.
have anyone around her. Like Zendaya got lucky and had
I know. It's
parents
just a
that
bummer.
cared, got a team around her. Sydney Sweeney's parents are wearing MAGA hats and going woohoo like on Electric Bulls. And then she has a bad team.
It's just a bummer that on a personal level, her background doesn't ground her, because like I would never fucking complain about where I'm at now, because I've had to work at fucking Taco Bell. Like when I was like a college, after being a college grad from like a good college, I had to work at Taco Bell. So I'm sure as hell not going to complain about what I'm getting paid now, because I've seen like what it can be like.
Totally.
So it's like, it's someone like from like Salem, Oregon. Like where do you get off complaining about jack shit? Like you could be back in Salem, like working at the Taco Bell.
I mean, also she tried to kind of like defend herself by saying, you know, a lot of people walk into Hollywood, they have connections, they have, you know, like a network around them. I was from Salem, like I had nothing, so I worked 10 years to get this Euphoria part. And even the Euphoria part, she actually is quoted in the article saying the casting director like didn't even look her way. She made it known, which was like the only good PR move. I'm like, so that was PR? Because she goes, now we're in like a great relationship. I'm like, I'm sure you fucking are, because you're on Euphoria. But at the time they passed her up because they were like, what has she done? And then she sent in a tape. So meaning like they sent it into the casting director, and the casting director was like, I'm good, no need. She sent in the tape on her own, like everyone else in the world, and then got the part. So she kind of flexed on that and was like, I've had to work really hard. So I think her point was just not, like Alex said, she could have phrased it a different way. She could have said, it's frustrating that like I had to work that hard, like I'm a woman in Hollywood, but she took it a different route. It did not look good.
Yeah, it wasn't finessed at all, which a good PR person can help you do.
Okay, well, my heart is sinking talking this much like tea on Sydney Sweeney. So we're gonna move on to the next.
Good for her. It keeps her humble, you know.
Does it? I mean, but is she? She hasn't reacted. She said nothing, by the way.
One would hope.
She said nothing. She got a lot of backlash about that article. No statement. No tweet going, it was my mom's 60th. Like there was nothing.
The MAGA stuff's on her publicist. The other stuff's on her, I think.
Yeah. But anyways, we can move on to the next topic. Like I said, my heart is like sinking. Back again. And we're here with a new juicy headline. And lucky for Sydney Sweeney, she's not in this one.
Yeah, girl, you need to stay out of the headlines, Sydney. You better go do some volunteering or something. Stay out of the headlines. Throw some of that PR money towards a foundation.
Start an OnlyFans, show those titties. I don't know what you got to do, but you got to do something.
I really want to know who is her publicist and how much are they getting paid?
We could probably look it up.
Yeah, we can. I know what I can find out.
Okay, do it. Look it up right now. Let's shout out. Let's get our publicist on the podcast.
I'm very curious.
I now have an IMDb Pro account. So
oh shit.
I'll also say this. There are, I don't think this is the case here, but there are certain publicists whose clients are notoriously like keep them out of the loop and are like very hard to be a good publicist for, because they like don't inform them of anything. So potentially on her publicist. I would love to.
It's so there are 3 publicists listed
3?
Here. Yes.
Well, it's as much as a mortgage payment, so that makes sense.
Well, the company is called Imprint in Los Angeles. I'm not going to say the publicist's names, but I will.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll go to their client roster for the company.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pulling up the client roster now.
I love this.
Suspense.
I love this.
So they are representing Brittany Snow.
Wait.
Brittany Snow from X.
Oh, yeah.
No, I know.
From
I'm sorry.
Prom Night.
I got really disturbed because I thought you said someone that had passed away.
Oh, Brittany Murphy. Oh,
no.
I'm sorry. No, I'm saying I thought that's what he said. Then I was like, ooh, awkward.
Alive.
I know. Okay, let's move on. Who else?
yeah, fun. Well, I won't go into that, but my you triggered something in my head, but I'll go on. Sadie Sink, who is Max from Stranger Things.
Mhm.
Holy shit. That and
Love her.
Sadie Sink's thriving.
Interesting.
What is going on?
Someone's not doing their job, and we're gonna call
Someone's
you
doing her
out.
dirty.
Jessica Chastain is rep by this company.
Okay.
Okay, and she doesn't have a bad rep.
No, Giancarlo Esposito, Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
so it goes by star meter. I mean, who's got the highest?
I mean, that's enough. We don't even need more. That's like A-list celebrities that are clearly like
Right. They're clearly like they're big. I guess the question is, are these people really easy to work with, or are they doing a good job and they're
Yeah.
just failing on Sydney Sweeney? Maybe they're horrible and those people are just not problematic, but
yeah, there's some names.
well, since I have a crush on Sydney, I'll just
something's
say,
going on
poor
with
Sydney.
her account. She needs a new account manager.
Well, I mean, she just needs some time and experience, and I do think that
She needs a couple of these too. Oh, that's I won't
Give
even
it
go down
back.
that rabbit hole. She doesn't drink, but she should. She should
She doesn't
start.
drink. She doesn't
No.
drink.
She's
too
never
young.
had coffee either.
Oh, because she's Mormon.
Stop. We're gonna start all these rumors. Okay, we're gonna go to the next headline before we get canceled for saying that Sydney Sweeney's Mormon.
the Mormons,
Okay.
the Mormons know how to
How
throw a
dare you
hoedown.
misreligious
How
her?
dare
They know how to throw a hoedown. Those Mormons, let me tell you.
make 60 great again. Okay, on that note.
Wow.
I can't. Make this podcast great again. It sucked tonight. We've had all these. We should make hats that say "Make this
Make
podcast
that
great
so
again."
euphoric great again.
You gotta put it in the red MAGA color.
That's a euphoric.
Yeah,
fucking
definitely the red
sound.
MAGA because that obviously gets a lot of press.
Wear it to work, and I'll wear mine at work, and we'll both be out of a job. So
I would definitely wear a red "Make That So Euphoric Great Again" hat. I'm not gonna lie.
I would too.
We're canceled.
I'd make
Okay.
more around here. I tell you that.
The next headline is a little more like dense, so we don't need to go like too deep because it is a lot and it's a little more sensitive. It's not, MAGA hats and shit. It's like a little more dense. So Alex is going to take this headline. I'll give like the little topic line and then he's going to give more background. So Hunter Schafer was also under fire. And it was because Hunter Schafer appeared to endorse an anti-non-binary post on Instagram. So Alex is going to give more of like just more context, but overall there's been some funny memes that are like Hunter's down, Sydney's down, Barbie's down, like who the fuck is going to be in Euphoria season 3? And I have to kind of just like take the seriousness out of it and laugh because I'm thinking the same fucking thing. Everything's a burning dumpster fire for Euphoria. Like, what's happening?
I didn't hear about this Hunter Schafer thing at all.
So let Alex give the vibe and then we'll all talk about it.
So it's complex.
Yeah.
This is very this is like the real like in the weeds discourse of the trans LGBTQ community. I'm not gonna like act like I'm some expert on this. I'm just gonna try to give like the high level like layman's overview. So my understanding of the situation, there was a post. The gist of this post was that non-binary people and non-medically transitioning trans people, aka people that are saying I identify with another gender without taking physical like transformative efforts to become part of that like medical transition. Those two groups of people are damaging the rights of trans people essentially by hurting their access to healthcare and transitional like procedures in a medical format,
Specifically in Florida too. They were talking about Florida.
Yes. And the like because apparently is that these the post alleges that these people center the conversation on a non like heteronormative like spectrum, like trying to say like there is just this spectrum, there isn't like male and female, and the focus on this like very non-binary like view of this is negating the viewpoints of people who are trans and are saying I am like male or female, I just want to like swap to the other one.
If you want me to help you recap.
There is a degree there, this like viewpoint is called like trans medicalism, which like essentially like intuits some degree of like elitism on the part of people who are medically transitioning from one gender to another, and that has been like viewed negatively in the community. There's critiques of the non-binary and non-medically transitioning people as like taking up like an undue amount of the conversation and centering the conversation on themselves, centering them conversation on this like non-binary like spectrum. And by doing all that, they've incensed like lawmakers against like trans people and are damaging their rights essentially.
So with all that said, people are mad because there was a long post, and I'm not going to read it all. It's very long, but Hunter liked it. And also I'm not laughing. I kind of am laughing because the article's like she posted 5 exclamation points under the post. So,
and that's probably
not
like
that the number matters,
but there were
5.
I'm not like,
4 exclamations, 5.
Yes, I'm not like pretending to be any kind of an expert in any of this. Like this is just supposed to be like a broad overview of like my interpretation of this. Like
yeah,
but that's the gist of it from what I understand.
Well, a big part of it is, just so you know, Louise, she works for, or like she's often advocated on behalf of For the Girls, which is like supports the trans community. They do a lot of great work. And she was called out, like they tagged her after she did that and said, Hunter Schafer, it's really no shade when I say this at all, but this is not cool. Which like doesn't look good when a brand you're working with, not saying they're in the right, or I don't, like Alex said, I'm no expert, so I'm not going to weigh in on my opinion, but like it's not the best look when people you work with are like, this isn't cool, and are like tagging your name. So it caused a lot of controversy. And I believe that it came about because of those people tagging her. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if anyone would have like noticed, who knows, but I think it's because the people she works with, they were all like tagging her and were like, what the fuck? So I don't know what you have to say on this. If you don't have much, but I'll let you take the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't view myself in any way, shape, or form an expert on the trans community or many issues that are faced there within, but I do know that I've had to educate myself because of my upbringing, kind of being sheltered to a lot of different marginalized classes. And even as someone who didn't come out formally as gay until much later in life, I've had to learn and teach myself about my own community. And I have a niece who just came out as trans, and we're trying to work through that and navigate that as well. So yeah, not a lot of insights on this, but I think that, again, I don't think anybody in any celebrity, I don't think any celebrity chooses to have controversy when they make a statement, or when they go to a party, or when they get interviewed by the Hollywood Reporter. It's unfortunate that people are put in these situations where it's a 1-second thing and now you have all this backlash, especially, but one hand feeds the other, right? So when you are in this position of being on a hit show and then also representing a marginalized community, I can't imagine what it's like to have to think before you speak all the time about it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I like a lot of interviews I've watched on YouTube, like, you know, the Hollywood roundtables like that they do. A lot of the big stars in marginalized communities say that. They're like, it fucking sucks, but I don't wish to talk about like political shit anymore, because I'm at the airport, like picking up my suitcase, and TMZ's in my fucking face saying, what do you think about this? And in that moment, I'm not like prepared. And I might have a lot of thoughts, but like, that's not, I'm like on vacation. Like, I'm not like trying to do that, but God forbid I don't say anything, I get all the backlash. So it's like, you know, you're fucked if you say something, you're fucked if you don't. So I guess like I'm kind of like in this situation, also like not being expert, but also loving Hunter, I
Yes.
feel like I don't know. I'd want to hear her reasoning behind it, I guess, is my own conclusion to this. I'd love to hear her thoughts. I don't care to hear any of ours because we're allies, but we're not like in that situation. I would like to hear what she has to say. I'd like to hear both sides, honestly. But like it's hard to see on social media. It's like I don't care about an Instagram post. I want to hear like a conversation from both sides.
I agree. Yeah. I don't know enough to have, too much of an opinion, but all I can say is it's just the timing of all this is just unfortunate for all parties. It's like you just enjoy, I enjoy that show I relate to that show on a way different level than someone who's Gen Z or my daughter might relate to it, because I have felt that way in high school. I have felt many of the characters' emotions. I have felt the rage of Nate. I have felt, the sexual awakening of Kat, not in that way, but also like, oh, wait a minute, got this going on and someone else appreciates it. What? So my experience watching that show is completely different than anybody else's, but it just sucks when people work very hard on something that you can unite so many generations and see them kind of go to this, even if it's brought upon themselves, which I'm not saying Hunter brought it upon themselves.
No, yeah.
I can't say that about Sydney. Definitely need to work on maybe thinking ahead on some things, but they're also young people, and young people
Yeah.
learn, and they're
Young and learning, and just need to stay. My biggest thing from all of these conversations is just stay the fuck off social media. Like you're already killing it in the art world. Don't just why?
And also just like we put a lot of pressure on celebrity in general. Like
yes,
people are allowed to not always make the right move, and I'm not saying that these weren't the right moves, but people make mistakes. I mean, I've misgendered people at work before and then been corrected, and I'm mortified that I
imagine being on camera or like tweeting it or something. I'm
mortified that I didn't take the 2 seconds to look, at the pronouns before I'm engaging with this individual. I've been called, you were there, I was called in front of the whole company, I was called Lois Garcia. Remember that? And then Lois
Garcia.
And
this
then
is my time to shine in front of like New York, Portland, internationally, and I get called out as a lead of one of these groups, and it was like
not a lead, like someone high up that's done a lot of work for a company that we used to work for. Yeah, that's bad.
I could have, if I was a different individual who doesn't have, and the reason I feel like I have a little more grace is because I have children. I've also grown up super sheltered. I know what it's like to mess up. I could have made a huge deal out of that and been a complete dick, but I didn't, because it's like, haha, it's funny,
you're
a classic.
Also go pick your battles. Pick your battles, meaning it's not like the CEO was wearing a MAGA hat. It's like Lois, like it's like they were trying, like you said, they were trying their best and they made a mistake. Like that's just life. All of us are gonna make mistakes. We're just fortunate that we're not on camera. Well, we are right now. Like we're not on like under the public eye, and that's. I mean, I would have been canceled like 20 times over.
Oh my God, if I didn't have like the grace from, and I have messed up. I mean, I've messed up on levels at work. I've been drunk and said stupid shit that comes back to haunt me that I don't remember saying.
I'm only laughing. I've been there with you, and I've done the same.
As your publicist, I'm advising you to stop speaking right now.
Now.
I'm zipping it, but yeah, I feel you.
When I pull up images of Hunter and all the hard work and like beauty, that's not something you can fake. I mean, that's not something you can fake. You can feel that emanating off the screen from Hunter, from Zendaya. I don't get that feeling from all the cast, that they just emanate like pureness, and like, I'm not saying people are, you know what I'm trying to say?
No, I do. I'm saying I think I kind of, because we're super fans and like you said, we've done like the outside research, I do kind of know what you mean. Like
what is your take on like the class, like solidarity, class consciousness, like elements of this?
What do you mean?
Yeah, when you say class,
like what I mean by that is like, to me as an outsider, this reads like a situation where a community that should be experiencing class solidarity is tearing itself apart over the nuances of discourse, which doesn't mean that the nuances are not valid, but means that to me that they should come later after like basic rights have been secured. So I find it a little disappointing to see like this kind of like tearing at each other of these like two parties that seem like they could be aligned, whereas there are other, like there's a lot of like talk about like class consciousness within like the American like poor, and I see there being like to some degree like a irreconcilable difference, because the American poor whites are at least to some degree like significantly like racist towards like their non-white like class partners. So I can understand why there is like a barrier to class consciousness, or like TERFs, like women, ideally like women and trans women should be aligned as like an oppressed class and be able to like work together towards like rights, just general like better rights for women. But like the TERFs are like trans exclusionary, so they're at odds inherently. I don't know that as an outsider, I don't feel the same like inherent like difference that's irreconcilable between these two groups. So I, as an outsider, would love to see this like not tear these groups apart, because I feel like it only does a disservice to the general effort and position. It works in favor of the people that are trying to limit the rights of trans people, because it weakens their efforts when there's this type of infighting. What do you think about that?
The only thing I can compare to that too, in terms of infighting, and that's a great term, which I need to do more research on, is just this recent thing with Gina Wilson from the New York Times, who wrote kind of like a not great article review on Bodies, where she kind of said it was a 90-minute advertisement for cleavage or something, but then in the same statement like embraced and praised Jennifer's Body, that movie with
Megan Fox.
Lots of uproar, especially on TikTok within the community, LGBTQIA community. You would think that people would just want to come together and kind of not have that separation, but it's there, it exists. And again, it's hard to have an opinion on something when you don't know enough about a community, or where you're trying to learn yourself, and also in my case be supportive of my niece. And it's got to be so alienating for someone to come out and then deal with whatever road they want to go to make themselves feel like a whole person. Or living,
What's my opinion on this at the end of the day, including like the situation with Hunter, is I guess I find it hard because with journalism, like you said, like things are said and not everyone's gonna agree. But at the end of the day, like some of this stuff is just someone's opinion. Like even that article you said about her saying it's just a 90-minute film about cleavage. Like, but what if that's just her opinion? Like, what is so wrong if that's her opinion? If that makes, like, I don't want to be like canceled for saying that, but in my head, I'm like, maybe that was her just joking around. Like, this movie sucked. I saw it as a 90-minute film of girls' tits out.
I mean,
does that make sense?
Coming from a place where I'm not familiar with this article, there's a difference between having a critique of a movie and having a critique of like a whole community. Like the post that this is all in reference to was very much a critique of non-binary and non-trans medical people, as positioning them as though their voice and their representation and their presence is taking away from the effort to secure trans rights.
Totally. So yeah, it is a little different, right, Luis? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely different. Oh, you slip up again? You there?
No, we're good.
Make this podcast great again. Make this podcast great again.
Can we make that so Euphoric great again? At the end of the day, I just find it
probably the worst episode.
No, it's not. I love this.
I just find it a bit of a bummer. I would love to see like It's just it's a bit of a bummer to me that there is this focus on like who's right and who's wrong in the community and what
Yes.
actions and inactions are right in that community when there are legitimately like hateful like
Yeah.
opponents. Like there are people
Yes.
in positions of power in the government that are trying to like remove rights from these people.
Now
Like,
question.
those are the people that, in my opinion, the discourse and the conversation and the efforts should be focused on, as opposed to people within the community. That all can get worked out later. But
Question for Louise though, as someone you just said, like you're gay, do you deal with a lot of this stuff? Like, do you ever argue with people like infighting? You were like, that's a good thing to like bring up. Like, do you ever feel that way in your own community? Like,
Oh,
obviously,
yeah.
Alex and I are huge allies, but we don't. Once again, we cannot speak on being gay. We're not gay, so it's like I don't have a say. But like, have you ever like felt the way? Maybe have you ever made an
There's-
opinion that other people disagree with, or have you been
Oh,
in
yeah,
other
there's-
shoes?
There's the whole, what type of gay are you? Are you a bear? Are you a twink? Are you an otter? There's a lot of fat shaming that goes on in the community.
Really? This is all news to me. Sorry, I didn't mean to react like that, but I'm like, what the fuck? A bear and an otter?
come on,
An otter-
Paige.
an otter would
Come
be-
on, you don't know about otters?
No, what the
Otters are-
fuck? Okay, wait, maybe some of our young viewers don't though. Like, give me a brief breakdown. What the fuck?
And an otter would be, a thinner gay.
Got
with,
it. Oh,
with
it's review.
facial hair.
Oh, it's like weight related?
Oh yeah.
A bear is viewed as being
Aw.
like a very like large.
I don't like that.
like,
I don't
bear,
like
a
that.
large, hairy.
Okay,
like-
well, I'm already saying I don't like that because I don't want anyone to talk about me as an animal compared to my weight. Are you fucking
Oh, no.
kidding me?
It's just in the community, and that's how
Okay, got it.
it's called tribes. And not only do you have to deal with that, but then you have to deal with people of color within the gay community, and not looking a certain way within the gay community. Up here, it's a lot of my thing up here was, there's a lot of faceless profiles in this area, tons on Grindr. Why is
Interesting.
you go
Is
to
that abnormal?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's abnormal. It makes sense for this area. There's a lot of shame.
Right.
Yeah,
Also,
it's like,
Of course.
Washington was the first state to legalize gay marriage, according to my research. But Eastern Washington is closer to Northern Idaho.
Yeah,
so
right. It's very different.
a lot
okay,
of-
so that being said though, like how has that affected your experience? Like,
I mean, I've dealt with I've had good experiences, but I've had people where they're more fetishizing your size or your color than being interested in you as a person, which is,
that
I guess,
sucks.
normal in sexuality in general, right? Like I have,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you have that going on, or just a lot of like behavior where it's more shame based. Like I have no face on Grindr. I don't want, and that's totally fine if you want to be private about it. Not everybody's in a safe spot where they can be
yeah.
open. But then just a lot of shame based type things where I'm seeing it. Whereas in Portland, I mean, it's the cream of the crop.
Anything goes.
Anything goes, right? And I got used to that. Now, now I'm dealing with a different experience. So the infighting does exist. And I think, to Alex's point, yeah, that should come second. What should be first is unity, that we're just in the same marginalized group ish, right? Same ish.
Yeah,
And we have that struggle. That should be the start. And then figuring
go
out.
from there.
And that's unity, like with a big caveat. Like, as I said earlier, there are like situations where this really just like this class like solidarity, like group solidarity cannot apply. And I don't want to like erroneously apply that critique to this particular situation. The rift between the trans medical and like non-trans medical trans communities may be deeper and broader than I'm reading it as, but to me that seems like fairly niche. But like maybe there is like a very serious grievance between these two and it's irreconcilable and they really like do view each other as exclusionary in some way.
I was
So
just
I don't
want to
wanna,
talk
like-
to Hunter.
I don't
wanna
want to
hear his
misstate
thoughts.
that, or I don't want to like minimize the degree of that conflict because I'm not super familiar with it. But it
Yeah.
doesn't seem in its face level to be as like drastic as like a turf like versus trans like rift.
You know.
Yeah. I mean,
Sam-
I would just love to have Hunter on this. I would love to interview her anytime, any day, but I'm also a big believer in if I'm not like a part of that community, I just want to hear of anyone's experience. Like it's not my place to say how I feel or what my stance is. So I do find it a little concerning that like people were even writing in when I asked a lot of our fans to like state their opinions on all the juicy headlines we're talking about. The fact that people even have opinions that are not a part of those communities, that's where I have like problems with because it's like
it's a little much.
it's a little much. Agreed.
Right. Like it's a pretty niche conflict.
It's a very niche. It's like very, very.
My stance on it is that I don't know my stance on it. So
Yeah.
I default to like a class like consciousness like stance, but like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pretend to know like the ins and outs of it.
Well, that one was a little more serious. Okay, so now we're done with the juicy headlines. We've got all the girls are on fire, like literally, they're in a dumpster and they're on fire.
The ladies are on fire.
The ladies are on fire.
Sam's got some
sending peace and blessings. Sam's, yeah, he's majorly under fire, but I'm not on that bandwagon. I feel like Sam's just fine.
Sam's an artist, leave him alone.
Well, we're gonna get to that. So to conclude this juicy stupid drama tea episode, we are just going to talk about season 3 and what our assumptions are. The first thing I have is there was an article that got put out that said that there were hints of season 3 being a time hop season, meaning no longer in high school. We're going to jump a couple years, which would make sense in that people are getting fired. They're reevaluating like who's here, who's not. But I'm kind of like, they might do some scenes, time hop, some not, because we know some people are coming back for sure. So I don't even know how much we need to talk about this. It's more that we're just delivering the news of there's a lot of hints that this next season will be time hop.
What do you think, Louise? As a writer, what do you think about a time hop in a show?
I don't always. I normally don't like it.
Me neither.
I remember very explicitly being addicted to one show, which I'm a little embarrassed to talk about, but I was addicted to Desperate Housewives.
It's okay. That would.
And I remember the moment.
Desperate Housewives was good.
Very good. And I remember the moment I lost interest because they did a random time jump in the season finale, like 5 years. I was like,
you're like, what?
And the kids were older, and it would have made more sense had they been able to incorporate really clever flashbacks into the writing, which I think would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Euphoria, they did like a 2-year time jump and tied up some loose ends and flashbacks because they're really good at flashbacks. That would keep everybody engaged. But I'm not a fan of time jumps. Usually,
is there a show in your mind that's crushed a time hop? I feel like the biggest one is Lost, which I don't think really nailed it.
But they don't do a time hop. They kind of just do flashbacks.
No, they do a big time hop.
Better Call Saul didn't do a time hop. They did a lot of.
Yeah, because to me, it's like time hop in Euphoria world means none of the original cast is there. We're seeing them as adults.
Yeah,
well, it depends how many years you hop.
Yeah,
I mean, sure, but even if they're in college, like they can't be like it's just kind of weird. It's like what, like,
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, it's just a source. We don't even know for real. And all I will say is, I'm gonna take this quick moment to be on my pedestal and say I do not agree with any of the backlash against Sam. We had comments on our Instagram post that were like, Sam Levinson is a pig. It's like, you don't know anything. Just like we don't know what Barbie's going through, Sydney, all the people we've talked about tonight, we don't actually have facts. We just have these little drama details seeping in and we're just making our assumptions. But in my head, we've interviewed actual people on the show. And I get that it's PR. I get that they work for HBO, but like, without saying too much, we've talked to them outside of podcasting and recording, and they've all said working with Sam has been nothing but amazing, incredible experience. Like, couldn't ask for a better experience, in other words, in short terms. So to me, that speaks volumes. So I'm sorry, like I'm not erring on the side of Sam Levinson's like a Harvey Weinstein that needs to be outed, which is literally what's being said on Twitter.
That's ridiculous.
I feel like he's being more accused of being like a Kubrick, like abusive to his actors.
That no, that, but also sexual, because a lot of people were talking about it's like stupid. Like I don't even want to talk about it because I know it's like all just like dumb and drama, but like the babysitter, the adult, what was her name? Minka Kelly. She's like so irrelevant. She's lucky to even be on Euphoria, in my opinion. She was the Maddie's boss in babysitting. She like came out with an article that was like, I was originally supposed to be fully nude talking to Maddie, and I told Sam I didn't want to do that. And she was really cool about it, meaning she like praised Sam, was like, Sam was super okay with it and said, great, we'll scrape it. Like, we don't need it. But people are taking that out of context on Twitter and saying he's like a Harvey Weinstein. Like, of course he wanted to see her naked. Like, there's all this like tea. So it's not just, I'm just saying that to let you know.
Extremist as an artist, or not, I'm not even going to classify him as an extremist. Being someone with an aggressive style that includes like that stuff doesn't make you like abusive. Like that can be done.
No.
Like,
oh, I agree. I'm saying that's how but you just said, are they mad because he abuses actors? It's like, no, it's this whole scheme of like, even Sydney Sweeney came out in an interview and said there were a lot of scenes where she just had her top off and she asked, can we not have this? Like, I don't feel so, but all of them have said Sam's very receptive and has been very cool about it. So in my opinion, it's like, I just do not agree with people that are like trying to put Sam in this box of like horrible Hollywood bad director.
What are your thoughts as a both a director and an actor? There's often like a fraught, complex relationship where there can be antagonism and high emotion. Like, what's your read on this situation as someone that's involved?
I feel like he definitely has his hands full with the whole experience. I'm not saying to the cast. I'm saying the whole experience is just so. When you have a hit show like this, the level of scrutiny that you face, it's wild, especially in our environment now. Since the Me Too movement, and I'm saying that in a good way, that stuff should be exposed. But everybody's on high alert now for any of that kind of stuff, and the timing and dealing with a young cast that's also got a lot of other stuff going on. I mean, they're all massive stars, right?
Yeah, social platforms.
Zendaya is one of the biggest stars in the world right now. You know, that's a lot of. He has his hands full, so to be able to lock it in and have a successful season 2, I'm hoping that season 3 is just as impactful.
Season 3, I don't have any thoughts because Sam, we've learned, I mean, as podcasters based on Euphoria, all of season 1, everyone had their thoughts. Things were leaked. People were like, Addison Rae is going to be on season 2, like some dumbass TikToker. She obviously wasn't.
Yeah, Billie Eilish is going to be
now the rumor is Billie Eilish is going to be on season 3. Sure. I'm like, this is all just bullshit. And
why would Billie Eilish be on there?
I know, that's what I said. Like,
fucking no.
It doesn't make any sense. So it's just silly stuff like this I don't read into, because I do believe, once again, I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says, I am a fan of Sam and his work, and I do feel like he does a good job of sticking to his creativity and not like, he doesn't leak things, he doesn't market things. It's like the writing crew is stewing, they're figuring it out. Like, we're not gonna know. There's gonna be like not much that's leaked. There was nothing leaked about season 2 that we expected. I'm gonna stop
predicting because I got clowned on by the Lexi like Fez relationship. Just like destroyed me. Like that was like the ultimate like. I clowned on that so hard, and then that show, and then season 2 just clowned on me even harder, like back by being like, yeah, here it is, and you're gonna love it. I did love it, so
yeah, they.
I got played hard, so I'm done predicting. I never could have fucking seen the Cannibal Holocaust theme song being in season 2. Like clearly, this man is out to like follow his own creative vision, and it goes all kinds of wild places. And as much as I like can know and appreciate his references and influences, I have no fucking clue. So I'm not even gonna try to predict anymore.
Me neither.
Done predicting.
I'm just excited. Do we have an anticipated year? 2023, 4?
We don't, but
Four,
you
I
know,
think.
according to the Zach Sang interview, though, you heard like contracts are being renewed, people are being fired. That means they're getting ready to set production dates.
He says
That's
offers
usually
are
like
out.
the lineup of things, which I do agree with because we're like you working on shows, you know, like that's how it works. The
Yeah.
minute they start renewing contracts, that means they're getting ready.
They'll film in 2003 and it'll either come out late
2003?
2023. It'll either come out late 2023 or early 2024.
Alex, they'll probably film this in like 2003.
2003.
It's all good. They'll go back in time. Like Sam's
Yeah.
brilliant and innovative. Wow.
And maybe
Rue will
Cassie.
be 3 years old.
I'm picturing
2 years
Cassie like dating Nate in college and she's wearing a MAGA hat.
At a hoedown. Yeah, it's funny.
Cassie already took the heel turn, so they might as well go all the way and just give her the
Well,
full MAGA.
I'm really
like,
curious to see how they
makeover.
throw away Kat. Also,
Yeah, Jacob's keeping himself out of trouble.
no, he's not. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. He's dating.
What?
He's dating
like
the
one of the most
girl,
problematic people.
Olivia. I don't know her last name.
He
'Cause
broke
that's
up
how
with her,
unimportant
but-
she is. Olivia Jade, the girl who was a part of the USC like school scandal.
He broke up with her, but you know, the rich mom from Full House paid a buttload of money to get her daughter like finessed into USC on a bunch of fake shit. You knew about that, right?
Olivia
No.
Jade.
You didn't hear about
What
this?
happened? No, what happened?
Yes, you
Oh
do.
my
Wait,
God.
no. We're not going to go down this rabbit hole.
This is a
No.
rabbit
He
hole
does know. The
app.
Full House mom. The Full House lady that paid
Lori
for her girl to
Loughlin.
get in college.
He's dating her?
Yes, thank you.
No,
See,
no,
he
no.
knows.
He's dating her daughter.
No.
Lori Loughlin, the lady, the
Jacob-
woman from Full House.
Jacob Elordi is not visiting Lori Loughlin in jail. He's dating her daughter, and they've apparently broken up as of recent. But
Her and her husband paid a lot of money to.
he knows. We don't need to go into it. Everybody in the fucking world knows.
I don't know.
Well, the mom got
Everyone
her.
in the world knows this story. There's a
Did you hear
Netflix
that?
series on it.
Netflix did a spinoff of
Yes.
her being in prison. It's called Aunt Becky's Big House.
Stop.
That was pretty good. That was
That
pretty
would be-
good.
No, you were dead serious.
Aunt
I was like
Becky's
ready.
Big
I was like,
House.
what? Like,
Hey, her house is definitely full these days. We'll
okay,
say that.
okay.
I would watch that. It's like
I
she
would
could be-
too.
She could be either orange or black cast now. Literally.
A redemptive arc, a redemptive prison arc.
Okay.
Lori Loughlin.
All right, boys. On that note,
Yeah,
God
anything else?
damn. On that note, I don't have my
Jesus Christ.
I
On what note, Paige?
I need to get my notes
On
up.
what fucking note?
You all distracted me. Louise is like, what? And I'm like, the biggest scandal that ever hit the news? Like, and then you're like describing it as if no one knows. There's a lot going on.
I don't like to assume.
Okay. So the last note I have is just pretty much to say, who do we predict, us three, if anyone, is going to get fired next, especially since that source on Zach Sang said, buckle up, motherfuckers. Do you think anyone else is getting fired or let go? My opinion, I do think Alexa Demi will no longer be on Euphoria. I'm going to say that right now. I don't think it has anything to do with drama or pettiness. I just think that Maddie's character like reached a good conclusion in season 2.
No, she's not going anywhere. There's no way.
I hope not. I'm like I said, I'm saying this out of like practicality. I really fucking hope not. I love Maddie's like one of my favorite characters. So I would love if she was there, but I have a feeling she's gonna be done.
I agree she'll be out, but I don't think that counts as like a firing as much as a
Not firing, but she just might not be like in the season.
I think it's gonna be our girl BB.
I think we all know she's out. Vape girl.
I don't think they're gonna bring her. If there's a time skip, I can't see them bringing her back. She didn't have enough development to warrant like bringing her back like years in the future. Like she's probably will have gone some other way. Like in the story.
You mean the girl that was chilling with Fez and Ashtray?
No, that's Chloe Cherry.
No, the
Vape girl, like in the fight, who's like, yeah, Maddie like beat her ass. Like
Oh, she's
BB.
fantastic.
BB. Phoebe. We should just say her name.
There's no reason for her to go though. She's fantastic. She pops in and out, does her
I love her. She's amazing. I don't want her to go.
She's
my
also
favorite character.
But she's also been under fire many times for being a Trump supporter on the outs. But anyways, we won't, like I said, there's been enough tea spilled during this episode, like in every which way.
HR PR like nightmare. I would not want to. Poor HBO. They're like,
I know. I'm like, no wonder every time we interview anyone, we have to have a publicist on the line. I don't blame them. That's important. Like, these kids clearly need some help.
Yeah, well, they're young and have
so no predictions. I said Maddie. You don't think
I say BB. I don't think we're getting BB back at season 3, which I think is a huge loss. She was already sidelined a little bit in season 2. Like,
I don't see anybody getting let go. I think they need to hold on to what they have right now. I'm out loud. There's a lot of change, like Ashtray gone, Cat gone. Like, you need to get the
step it up.
Main core of the show, and like
maybe Ethan will be the hero. I hope
Ethan's around, man. He is woof.
They set him up for some
I know
some development.
He is a dream.
A funny last thought was in this article, it was on Mary Claire magazine, but the last sentence of it was asking about Euphoria season 3, and this is what we've got. Zendaya said, Rue wants to be here and it's up to her now. I really hope that we can explore her life in the future closer to the other side and her sobriety journey. But for now, it sounds like as the cast, we are in the dark. And what's next, plot-wise, I know nothing. I'm just very curious. Maud Apatow said, following that, and with an interview with Variety, we've heard whispers, but barely anything. So we don't know shit because if the cast doesn't even know, we all just have to shut up.
I mean, if they did know, they couldn't say anyways.
But they don't ever know. They really don't know.
Sometimes they don't get the script until, or they just get the
take the time jump with a grain of salt. In other words,
exactly. That's what I from that.
It's gonna have to be a very small time jump for it. Not to...
Rue's like a grandma. She's shooting up heroin.
Stop. They're 60 years later. Rue can't quit us, man.
Cassie has a walker and is wearing a MAGA hat that says "Make 60 great again."
That's what it was. They were really filming an episode. That's what it was. It wasn't.
Oh, maybe this is a marketing campaign.
Yeah.
They wanted to get footage of Sydney Sweeney's mom at 60 so they could use it as footage of her at 60.
Yeah, and then Kat's departure is all a conspiracy. It's just she shows up episode 1, Thundercat, full action
with the mask and everything, and Ethan as a pup with a pup mask, and she's got him in a chain and oh my god. This episode is
Jacob has Olivia Jade on his back. He's they're doing a piggyback, slow motion run through the park.
Oh, wow.
No. Jacob and Olivia Jade are I'm gonna start the rumor. She's in Euphoria season 3, and so is Billie Eilish, by the way, in case you were wondering.
I heard
Billie Eilish is doing the
Billie Eilish is Olivia Jade's best friend. They're all in Nate's kitchen. And he opens his acceptance letter and it's to USC. And then him and Olivia Jade laugh, and then
I heard that Harry Styles and Lizzo are gonna play guidance counselors next season.
That's the type of rumor that would actually go out. That's
I
not
want to be responsible for that. I want to hear that rumor.
That's the kind of one that would go out though, for real.
I would love to be a janitor. Sam, if you're looking for just a background to high school, if we're still in high school,
you're looking for a garbage man.
Me and Alex sign us up.
I'm your guy.
I'll be the garbage man that gives the kids advice when they don't.
Yeah, you're the gay garbage man.
They're like, how did you end up a gay garbage man? Did you always want to do that? And I'm like, well, I can't control that I'm gay.
You're kids, no. You go, let me tell you my story, and then there's a time hop.
You're the weathered old garbage man that's really been through the shit.
Yeah, and I used to sleep with Fez's grandma.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Oh, she made a cute comment in Variety. She said, if Sam brings me back, he better she was so funny. In a Variety article, she was like, I'm just in a coma on a medical bed. Why is everyone worried about their parts? What about me? I'm in a coma. What's going to happen to me?
She's got to wake up.
I want to be back on the show. Wake me the fuck up, Sam.
She should wake up, and there should be a revenge arc for what happened to Ashtray. Ooh, I like that.
She wakes up immediately after his death and vows vengeance against the cops who killed him.
She wakes up. And
That's a Sam Levinson storyline, TVH. He likes a good exploitation, like revenge flick.
who would you relate? This is so off topic, but I just want to ask, who would you relate Sam Levinson to director wise that you admire?
That's a great question. He reminds me a lot of
Not to like put you on the spot, but you're such a film person. Do you have anyone in mind?
Believe it or not.
Because he definitely has a specific
He's a little
style.
Gregor Rocky.
Yeah, he's got some Gregor Rocky. He does his style and the way he relates to his actors, the way that they relate to each other, reminds me a lot of another Sam Mendes, American Beauty. The way the young people interacted in that movie.
A lot of like age differences there too that just go overlooked because you care about the characters. I would agree with that.
Characters were very fragile and like very damaged in that movie, and I think
iconic pedophilic relationships.
Yeah, I would feel like Sam, both the Sams let their actors just play around a lot and really embody. Gives them a lot of room, but also is very specific about the focus and the vision, but also letting people bring it.
Yeah. On that note, another question for you both. What are your thoughts on cast having says in their character? Like Euphoria has been talked about so much where Sam has really opened the cast to have a huge say in like their character development to the point where they're like creating mood boards. Like we've interviewed them and they've had this feedback. So I asked that because that is why everyone's up in arms about Barbie. Even if there was tension, everyone's mad because they're like, well, you've let all your characters have a say. So what if she was like, fuck this storyline, I don't like it, this is not where my character's supposed to go? Do you think someone on the cast has the authority to do that, or do you believe in like, fuck this, the director should have the end say?
I mean, you should definitely be collaborative with your cast. I've had the most fun working with actors when they're able to embody what I want and we kind of meet each other halfway, as long as they're not going completely off the rails too.
You mean if they don't have a cat that's pissing in their trailer?
Yeah, that's the rumor I will believe right there, for sure.
I mean, I don't think it's unbelievable. Like cats piss everywhere. Meatball just screamed through this whole interview. Like
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be, man, your ratings are gonna go through the roof once it comes back. I mean, your ratings are already high, but
not if our episode runs like this as it did tonight.
Are you kidding?
Not if Meatball's meowing.
Only if we make that so Euphoric great again, okay?
It's awesome. I had a blast. I'm telling
you
right
now.
I know. Louise, you're such a light of positivity. Like we literally had our cat meow multiple times. He pooped on the window. We had to kill like a tarantula. Our internet went out, and you were still like, "Let's keep going. Let's keep talking."
I got rejected.
Adore you. We're so thankful you even like joined us. Yeah, like shout out.
Whatever you need. If you whatever you need, let me know.
I'm down. Hopefully we can look back on this and laugh and go, wow, we were really right about some of the things we said, or we'll go, wow, we were real assholes and we're canceled.
That's why I think the show should go on as recorded to be able to compare and contrast.
Most likely we'll just say, wow, that was completely incomprehensible because of all the technical difficulties.
But it's fine.
What a hot mess.
I mean, yes, but would it be Euphoria? Would it be That's So Euphoric or Euphoria if people weren't drunk and fucking up after? We're doing better than the cast of Euphoria. That's what I'll say, and I'll end there. We
don't have multiple scandals going around, or
Yeah, we don't have scandals. Well, maybe we will after this episode. We don't right now.
I don't have to make an apology tweet. Yeah. In a couple of days.
Speaking of tweets and Twitter, now's your chance. Shout out all your handles, where everyone can follow you. Not to put you on the spot, but shout out your, we won't be able to follow you.
You can follow me on Twitter at Aspiring Luis. That's my main Twitter.
Okay.
And then I have the Pondercast on Twitter as well. And then the Ponder All podcast on TikTok. That's my biggest platform right now. And I do the Ponder All podcasts on IG as well, Instagram.
Awesome. We'll link all those in our episode. So
come get a review in. I love interacting with people in the comments. So
yeah, good luck. If our fans review, good luck. They keep us on our toes. I mean that in the best way. Like we get a lot of good feedback, but we also get some real out there.
Yeah.
Love it.
Can't wait to hear what they think about
Yeah, I know. Like honestly, love it. Like keep them coming. Keep us on our toes, keep us humble.
Yeah, keep us humble. Well, thank you so much for the invite.
Thanks, Louise.
Thank you.
We love you.
Love you.
Like today's episode? Great. We love that for you. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave us a podcast review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever the fuck you listen to us weekly. And be sure to follow us on Instagram at @so_euphoric for all the Euphoria updates you could ever possibly want in your life. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out, bitches.